Good morning and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the StarCraft 2 World Championship Series. We're here for Challenger Summer Edition. I'm Nathanius, joined by Rotterdam, as we kick off another exciting season of WCS Challenger. Lots of players trying to compete, get qualification spots, money, prize points. It's awesome. It's good to be back, and it's good to have you here with us at the Blizzard Arena, Kevin.
It's been a year, Nate. It's been a year since you've been in this lovely studio, but I'm excited. It's very early, I must say. This morning I almost had a heart attack. I'm like, why is my alarm going at like 5:30 in the morning? I was like, oh my goodness, I know why. I've got to cast video games, but I'm excited. It's always fun to do Challenger with you guys, and hopefully we see some awesome StarCraft. Yeah,
it's going to be a fun day. We got In Control in the back. For those of you curious about our Challenger format, we're just going to go over everything again for y'all. We had some ladder qualifiers, we had some open bracket qualifiers, but the quick synopsis is we've got 16 players in our group stage. 2 players are going to advance from each group to form our round of 8, where a winner will be crowned for each region with their own separate prize pools. So we've got a lot of games to get through. We have a lot of action coming up over the course of the next few weeks. Of course, we are live here today from the Blizzard Arena. We will be live tomorrow, as well as the next couple of weekends. You've got your June StarCraft fix. We'll be on the 15th, 16th, 22nd, and 23rd as we go through all of our group stages, as well as our finals for Europe and North America. So StarCraft all June, and of course, Kevin, this also leads into WCS summer as well.
Yep, we had spring, and I think it was an awesome event. I think everybody had a lot of fun watching Kiev. I think a lot of the players had very positive things to say. We obviously had a couple new things in the tournament as well. We had the implementation of the introduction of the knockout bracket.
Yep,
it was very well received. So obviously everybody is not only eager to watch Challenger, but is eager to go all the way as well, because obviously, as always, the top 4 finishes of Challenger will get those all expenses paid trips to Kiev. It's a beautiful city, Nate.
That's right. There's a lot to play for. Of course, the qualification for WCS Summer is really nice, but we've got money on the line just for Challenger as well. So $1,600 for first place, and that's, of course, with that seed to go play in Kiev. And those WCS points, as the year goes by, Rotterdam, each one becomes so much more valuable. There's only so many tournaments remaining. The year flies by.
Yeah, we haven't really talked too much yet about WCS standings and the amount of points. We obviously do know that Sarah has already qualified, of course, by winning WCS Spring.
I'm not surprised.
No, I don't think many people are surprised about that, even if he wouldn't have won. With the points, he would have most likely been okay at the end of the year. But, you know, Elazer, for instance, one of the players that we are going to be casting today, he's somebody who's very, very eager to make it to the global finals. He's somebody who made it in 2016, made it in 2017. 2018, he fell short. It went wrong in Montreal back then. So, for instance, for him, these tournaments, like for us, it's just a fun day of StarCraft. Let's see who makes top 4. Let's see who goes to Kiev at least. But for someone like Elazer, these points can very well be like a make it or break it point.
Yes, and he, as you said, he's going to be starting off today's group. He'll be playing against Bly, so we'll give you guys some ZvZ. We know you love that for waking up in the morning, but don't worry. After that, we've got the other 2 races in this game. Euthermal will be facing off against DNS, and then we'll do the standard GSL group style. We're going to go down to our loser match, winner match, and then the decider. Only 2 players are going to be able to make it out to that top 8. Do you got a favorite in this group, Kev?
I think the 2 players that stand out for me a little bit, to be perfectly honest, are Elazer and Euthermal. I must say, though, I think DNS has been playing some really good StarCraft lately. DNS looked actually very strong in Kiev as well. Online, he's been looking good. I've seen him play against other streamers as well, where he looks good. But for me, I don't know if that's more like 2018 vibes or 2017 vibes even, but I think Elazer and Euthermal stand out to me here as small favorites. Definitely not overwhelming favorites, but if I got to pick 2, those are the 2.
All right, well, I guess we can start talking about our first match then. It is Bly versus Elazer. So ZvZ's kind of been interesting this year, right? We had everybody jump on the Nidus bandwagon when that was a thing, and it kind of got scaled back a little bit, but we still see a good amount of that. It still pops up a lot, no pun intended. Do we...
Whack-a-mole, Nate, pops up?
Yeah. Do you think... I guess what I'm trying to say is I feel like we could probably still see a good bit of that from having a player like Bly, but any thoughts, Kevin, as we get started?
Absolutely a possibility, but I think it depends a little bit on the map. It seems like our first map for this broadcast of Challenger is going to be probably your favorite right now, Nate, is it not?
I love this map. This map's really fun.
Thunderbird is going to be the map. I think this is one of the maps where indeed Niduses are very good, because we can talk about that soon. There's often only one way to attack the first 3 bases of your opponent. But Nate, take it away on this lovely morning.
All right, we're loaded in. Welcome. This is the World Championship Series, ladies and gentlemen, here on Thunderbird. We kick off WCS for Europe. In the bottom right, we have the red Zerg player. He is Elazer.
And in the left up side of Thunderbird, we're looking at the main base of a Ukrainian Zerg. Was perhaps not super happy with how spring went for him. I'm sure he's very eager to do better in summer when we go back to Kiev once again. It is a Ukrainian Zerg, Bly. One of the oldest names in StarCraft 2. I think Bly has been going pretty hard in StarCraft since day one of Wings of Liberty, day one of the beta.
My favorite graphic that we had during the circuit last year was we popped up the one with like number of games played, competitive matches played. And for a lot of players, right, if you've been playing for a few years, like, yeah, maybe you got a couple hundred competitive matches, like in tournaments and stuff, but Bly was like over 9,000 maps played of competitive. This guy's played in like every go for SC2, every, like, go all the way back, all those cups and whatnot.
Yeah, he often plays in 2 or 3 tournaments at once, and he still does that. That's not just a 2012 or 2013 story.
Honestly, if there's an online cup happening somewhere for 20 bucks right now, he's doing those games in between these groups.
He's playing on a side PC
exactly.
Right now.
He's like, some people use 2 PCs to stream. Bly's like, no, no, no. I have to multi-box StarCraft. I'm Ravager rushing on this computer, and I'm Nidus Soloning on this one.
It's going to be a fun one, though. I watched quite a bit of Bly over the last few weeks, and I do really feel he's in pretty good shape. And I'm not just talking about some crazy builds, not about just the all-ins. I mean, I think the one series that really stood out, obviously, in WCS Spring was when he went up against Neep. I think everybody loved that best of 3. If you guys somehow missed it, make sure to check it out. Bly vs Neep. It was a lot of fun. But he's also been playing some pretty good, like, macro. Like, Bly's macro is never the same as all the other Berserks, their macro, right? Like, he'll go up to a hive tech, but then you realize he suddenly has 0/0 upgrades, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So Bly's macro is a little bit different, but I think he has been playing some very smart StarCraft over the last few weeks. Been seeing him on base trade as well with a couple of cool moves. Yesterday saw him even make a force field wall with roaches that morphed into Ravagers. Everybody's like, oh goodness, Bly, you're so smart. So I do think this is going to be a very close series, and I think Elazer, I mean, scouting is obviously always important in this matchup. When you go up against Bly, it is just a little extra important because you know that a game-deciding attack could literally be launched any moment. Even when it doesn't make sense, that's when it makes most sense for Bly.
Yeah, we have Elazer getting his first ling across the map, trying to get himself a little bit of information. Sees the Baneling Nest at the front of Bly's base.
Ooh.
He's going to be able to get into the main. Sees no lair. 2 drones on the gas. Speed is on the way, so nothing super crazy here. Elazer's going to fire up quite a few Zerglings, though. Is he perhaps expecting an attack, do you think, Kev?
I don't know, but maybe this is kind of the idea. It's like, you know what, it would be better for me to be the initial aggressor here, so I can actually dictate the pace of the game, and I will always know what's happening. In case Bly is trying to catch me off guard, or at least I'll have some units, I'll have some map presence. Like, obviously 16 links is not an overwhelming amount of links, but there is a Roach Warren going down as well. So maybe Elazer's idea here is just like, I'm going to skip the Baneling Nest, which I think is kind of a risky call, by the way, against Bly, but hey, if he gets away with it, it will work out. He's like, I don't want to invest in this. That's why I'm making these links, because I want to keep Bly on his side of the map, because obviously I'm skipping Banes. I want to go straight into Roaches.
Yeah, and of course, it can be a little bit tricky there on this map. Trying to poke that third base is very dangerous. Thunderbird is really a first of its kind map that we've had in the competitive StarCraft 2 pool.
Wow. That's a lot of Roaches, by the way. Yeah,
he's got this next wave coming up. So in the middle of the map, of course, there's those mineral patches that kind of extend the rush distance. And I kind of wonder if in a scenario like this, if it wouldn't hurt to send a drone to just like take one of the top mineral patches out or something so that you can rally across a little bit faster. As it is, of course, a new map, we're going to be seeing these strategies develop over the course of the WCS season. But I like it. You've also got the mineral patch wall by the third base that kind of keeps it completely cut off. And he is sending drones. Yeah, one of them gets sniped.
It's very cute. And maybe the second one gets sniped as well. But I'm still very worthy for Bly.
Oh, wow, he didn't get it.
Look at Bly's work account, Nate. Bly went up to 47 drones. Okay, he's going to get some spine crawlers right now. And obviously, he's going to need more than 2. I think he's going to need a forest of spine crawlers. I mean, Bly heavily overdroned here. Absolutely did not expect this attack coming. He's going to try to buy some time with his Banelings. This is cool and all, but Nate, the army supply, Elazer's army is massive. Blai's army is tiny.
This is a lot of Zerg coming up here for Elazer to Blai's base. He's got 5 spine crawlers on the way, but there's one thing we know, Kev. Spine crawlers take a long time to morph, so I think 1 or 2 of them might be done, but they're not actually at the front, so we've got the Lings coming in behind those Roaches. Really just wants to make sure that the Roaches get through the Banelings and then let the Lings flood by, but a great Baneling detonation does get a lot of Elazer's initial Zergling force. Is that going to be enough with the Spines? Not yet finished. I don't know, Kevin. The Banelings all seem to mostly be gone, so the Zerglings can continue to do some work here for Elazer.
Yeah, Blai is going for that +1 melee as well, but this is not going to kick in time. Most of these spine crawlers are falling. I mean, a lot of the Roaches did go down, but obviously Elazer is reinforcing with more and more units as well. Blai is going to pull a couple of workers, like you said. It's just a little too late. These drones are way too exposed. I mean, +1 is going to finish up. He still has 3 spine crawlers in his natural, but that drone advantage that we mentioned before, that doesn't really exist anymore. And, you know, if you play a Zergling style, Nate, do you really want to be a 2-base Zerg?
No, no. I mean, the limitation on Larva alone is going to make producing very difficult. Having to reposition the spine crawlers, they take a long time to reroute. So the Banelings try to keep the Lings off of them while they reposition. And actually, so far, not too terribly done, but more biles are just going to rain down. It takes a really long time to move those, so you have to be very careful when you're dealing with Ravagers in this situation, and just more and more Zerglings are flooding out across the map, Roddy.
I think Blai is known for one thing, and that is, besides the fact that he likes to be aggressive and cheesy, now he's on the other side of it, but Blai is also known for his never give up, never surrender spirit, sometimes perhaps to an extreme degree. And I think we are slowly but steady entering one of those scenarios. Even though right now you could say, hey, he's only down 2 workers. That's right, guys, but he's on 2 bases. And this is looking very, very dire. Just one throwing in there, because he does, of course, have +1 melee right now. So in a universe where he wouldn't lose any additional workers anymore, you could say, is there still hope? Well, the army of Elazer is just way too big, guys.
Once the Banelings are gone, of course, the Lings are just going to flood on in, and Blai's natural is forfeit. GG, Elazer takes the first map here of our WCS Europe Challenger Edition. Nicely done.
Yeah, you would normally expect this build to perhaps, or this game to play out in the other way around, right? Elazer to defend, maybe go for a fancy build like +1 melee, and then Blai's like, no, I'm going to punish you with a bunch of Lings and Roaches. I like the idea that Elazer had. Unfortunately, it didn't really come into fruition, right? But he brought the 2 drones, like you say.
You got to escort those drones very carefully.
So he wanted to like mine a little bit of those middle mineral patches and free up a quicker attack path to his opponent. The idea was really cool. It was kind of unnecessary because Blai was just too greedy. I don't really know what he was doing. Like, I don't mind if you're obviously making a couple drones, but you see a lot of the top Zergs very often. If they're not 100% sure what's going on, they'll wait sometimes, right? Like, they'll stack up that larva and they'll float a little bit of money, but in those phases of the game, that is on purpose because they want to make sure that, like, okay, I can't just build 8, 9, 10 more drones blindly. I need to know that I'm not being attacked. Blai simply did not scout well enough that game.
Yeah, and got punished for it very well by Elazer. We're going to be going to a bit more of a familiar map for Game 2, Kairos Junction. We've seen this one a good bit. This is one of our returning maps.
Now, do you think that he just poked the bear? Do you think that he angered Blai?
And now Blai brings out the ultimate cheddar?
Yes. He's like, you want to attack me? You're the one who's not tacking up? All right, if you want to play this kind of a game. He's like, I'm familiar with it. I can do that too.
I've kind of had this like thought about the metagame recently, right? Because it's been so many aggressive strategies from everybody, like across WCS, GSL. We got a lot of short games these days. No spoiler, of course, but I mean, if you're Blai and you're the player that normally plays aggressively, if everybody else starts to do it as well, do you feel like it takes a little bit of the punch out of his builds? People aren't playing as greedy as they normally would?
Yes and no. I think like we would not do him justice if we say like that's all he can do, right? I think Blai is a very smart player, and I think he always found his ways around the meta. And if that is the meta, I think Blai is very smart to find a way around that again. And still, he's always been a little bit of a counter meta player. It's like, all right, I hope that everybody does this, because if they do that, then my new build is actually going to be pretty good against that. So I think it's fine, and I think, you know, we shouldn't really judge him in the previous game. It was just stubborn, right? He maybe just thought that like Elazer is known for His micro, his macro. I mean, Elazer is a really funny individual, right?
He's very well-rounded
Yeah.
StarCraft player as well.
Because at one point he comes out, he's like, guys, nothing but macro for the next 6 months, okay? And we're like, oh, okay, that's awesome. Elazer is changing up his gameplay. Then it goes down 0-1 in the best of 5. It's like, next game, boom, all in. It's like, okay, with Elazer, you never know. I think Bly just kind of misread him. Let's see how game 2 plays out. But like you said, it is an aggressive meta. But I do think that Bly right now is like, you know what? I think it's more fun when I'm the one attacking, and let's just see how that plays out.
This map certainly isn't going to lean towards that defensive style as much as Thunderbird would. So we are loading in for map number 2. Can the Ukrainian Zerg bring this series back? Or will Elazer establish his dominance to kick off this season of Challenger?
Well, we are loading into the map, and seems like we are onto something, Nate. Over here on the right bottom side, we're looking at the main base of our Polish Zerg player, the man who made it to the global finals in 2016. In 2017, he missed out in 2018, but he wants to be back in 2019. It is Elazer.
And yeah, you called it, Kev. Rotterdam with the 200 IQ play here. We've got in the top left with that 12 pool. It is our blue Zerg. He is Bly.
You know what I am kind of sad about, Nate? When I just think back of that previous game before we can go ahead and talk about this 12 pool. Most likely, I do think Bly will expand behind this 12 pool. I don't think he's going to do something crazy as pulling the drones. Even though with Bly, I will never say that's not possible.
It's not like you'd be surprised if
no,
you did, right?
No.
You'd be like, yeah, he's going to 12 pool drone rush. YOLO.
But I'm kind of surprised that he went for a +1 melee build on Thunderbird. Now, Thunderbird is a big map, of course, don't get me wrong. But if I'm thinking back of some of the maps where I really think that some of those upgraded melee styles really shine, I think back of like Parasite and stuff like that, you know, just very long maps where there are a lot of different ways for your Zerglings to run around. Okay, he is going to pull the drones. All right, Bly's like, yeah, I know that nobody does this anymore, but I'm still Bly. I'm still going to do it.
The pool's only halfway done for Elazer. The Overlord sees it.
If you're Elazer, Elazer's gonna do the old school Clash thing. When he used to be part of Clash, Lambo and Elazer came up with this idea.
What?
Where you build a wall of evolution chambers, and this makes it harder for the spine crawlers to get by. I mean, they did this on New Repugnancy, I believe, for a while, but I don't know, or yeah, one of those similar maps. I mean, the drones have to go all the way around, but I don't know if that's really worth it on Kairos Junction, Nate.
Yeah, I have absolutely no idea what to say here. Okay, the Zerglings and the drones have gotten into the mineral line. Elazer is trying to stack his drones. He's waiting for his Zerglings to finish. We do have 3 spine crawlers on the way, but the Lings have popped out now for Elazer, so he has to get on top of this. Those spines are halfway done. If they're all able to complete, he's gonna have a really hard time defending against this, right? But he's got more Lings coming in. He's got the production.
I do think the initial fight that was pretty good for Elazer, right? He was able to trap a couple of the units. One spine crawler does get cancelled. The second one gets picked off. No cancel on that one. Bly needs to win the fight.
Finish though.
But that's only 1 low HP spine. Is that enough for Bly? I really don't think it is. I think Elazer has done it.
It's 5 to 6 drones, but of course he's got these Zerglings coming out too for Elazer to try and smack this one back. But Bly, yeah, there's nothing else.
Nope. It's 2 bases. Like, and don't forget that these drones are not mining at this point.
Yeah.
So you might think like, oh, 6
against
real 5 drones. No, they're not real drones.
That's what he's mining. He's got 3 workers.
And it's 2 bases against 1, so this obviously allows Elazer to A, get his economy going a lot faster, and B, he's able to produce way more Zergling. Now this could be very good.
4-Ling counterattack.
Yeah. That also means that he's 4 Lings short at home, though, Nate.
Yeah, that I can see how that could be a bit of a problem here.
That might be a good.
Oh, fighting on the ramp. Yeah,
he's still down in
Spartan
numbers.
strategies, but not going to be enough to stop those. And of course, yeah, he's got more Lings he can make it home. His drones are going to come out, fisticuffs, and it looks like Elazer in the final fight at 10 versus 7 supply.
A thriller. 11 versus 7 supply, but it looks very, very dire here for Bly. He's got a few more Lings active. He's going to try to make some magic happen.
Killed so many workers.
4 evils, Nate.
He's playing Heart of the Swarm again.
4 evolution chambers to delay those spine crawlers. And it's I mean, did it work?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like a couple of seconds difference might have actually done it there.
One of the most beautiful things about it there as well is that you don't want, obviously, normally I think Bly would build his spine crawlers near the top side of the main base, right? So they can only get attacked via the south side and there is less surface area. Obviously, because of the way that Elazer built his Evo chambers, you know, Bly doesn't want to go all the way around. He wants to get those spine crawlers up as quickly as possible. So that's why he built them on the south side of those Evo chambers. And then Elazer is like, well, cool, now I cancel my Evo chambers. And now your spine crawlers are suddenly very, very exposed. So in that way, it is a 200 IQ play. Big Brain Gaming.
This is... So we've got an epic moment happening here, gamers. Another drone's going to get picked off in that mineral line. And it doesn't matter. He's got 3 workers.
Yeah, this is once again
3 to 14. GG. Elazer does it. And our first match goes to the Polish Zerg player. Very well played. Well-held defense. The 4 evolution chambers to block the spine from being morphed in his base.
Like, I'm thinking of the map, because I feel like it was a similar map to New Repugnancy, and it may have already been New Repugnancy, but now that I think back, it's like, I don't think it's like that recent, and I don't think New Repugnancy was around a year ago. But there was a map that was very similar, and then apparently, you know, one moment Elazer and Lambo decided to sit down and like, we're gonna figure this out. What is the best way to deal with this? And then those two came up with the idea of building 3 evolution chambers. So you would force either the drones to go all the way around, and they would lose a lot of time, or you force them to build them, you know, kind of exposed. And then when you cancel your Evo chambers, obviously those spine crawlers, if they're not tucked to the main base, to the edge, right, there's a lot more surface area to attack them, so you can actually surround them with links and drones. And in that way, the build becomes a lot weaker and maybe easier to defend.
And defend it, he did. So, I mean, I guess it worked. It's an interesting approach and very well done. We're going to see Elazer move up to the winner's match where he will face off against whoever wins our next series. Of course, Bly is not out. He is going to play the loser of our next best of 3. We've got a Terran versus Protoss coming up for you next. We've got the Netherlands versus France. It's going to be U-Thermal versus DNS. We'll be back after the break with that next series. You're watching the StarCraft 2 World Championship Series.